So, good morning. Let us start with the question. The answer practice. Please note down the question. What are the major causes of major causes of land degradation in India? What are the major causes of land degradation in India? What are the major causes of land degradation in India? Discuss government initiatives. Discuss government initiatives to achieve land degradation neutrality. Discuss government initiatives to achieve land degradation neutrality in India. What are major causes for land degradation in India? Discuss government initiatives to achieve land degradation neutrality in India. What are the major causes for land degradation in India? Discuss government initiative to achieve land degradation in India. See, if possible, you maintain separate notes, because what are the questions I am dictating, these questions will have long-term significance. Next year definitely help you in mains answer writing. So if you have a separate book for it, that will certainly make things easy for you. Or else you have to prepare answers again for this. So mains preparation, mainly in mains preparation, you have to make stock answers on important current affair areas. So I'm pre-handedly giving you that. Okay, right. See how this structure has to be. See, if this is a 15 marker question, so 15 marker question, we have 3 pages, right? (15 marker question, we have 3 pages. Okay, so 3 pages, you have to write an answer. So first we'll write introduction. So and then the last page, conclusion. So these are common to any question. Okay, and then what you have to write here, what is the K2 here in this question? Causes and government initiatives. See, causes and government initiatives. So causes of land degradation, and you have to highlight it, and government initiatives. So you have to highlight this. Okay, so answer evaluate chese వాళ్ళకి, so whoever evaluating the answer, they should clearly see the structure in your answer. See, you have asked me 2 things, causes, and you have asked me government initiatives. So I am given both these things, right? So even if you don't know the answer, you maintain this structure, you will get minimum marks. Okay, so now see, there is no guarantee that everybody should know every answer in every question in the UPSC examination, but if you maintain this structure, you will get minimum marks. Okay, now causes. So how to classify the causes? See, when it comes to land degradation or any environmental causes, you have to write man-made causes, natural causes, or man-made or anthropogenic causes. Anthropogenic causes or natural causes, right? Government initiatives, you have to write government initiatives. See, if it is a 15 marker, what value additions you can do this to this answer? So ఇంకా ఎడిషన్గా ఏం చేయగలరు మీరు? Sorry, way forward. Okay, anything else? See, okay, you write way forward. So in conclusion, you can write way forward. You can offer solutions. ఇంకా what else you can do to get that edge in the competition? సో ఈ ఆన్సర్లో ఇంకా మనం ఏం పెట్టచ్చు? See, you can write impacts. Impact matlab consequence. See, there is land degradation. What is the consequence of land degradation, right? See, whenever you're writing something which is not being asked in the question, so what you have to do, see, for example, causes anukondi. Causes, what, just mention one cause for land degradation. Floods. How? Land degradation. Land degradation, what is meant by land degradation? Land degradation means land is converting into a desert, soil is losing its fertility, that is called land degradation. Yes, over exploitation of agriculture, or overuse of fertilizers. See, if you use overuse of fertilizers, now Punjab, Haryana, the Green Revolution belt, that land is turning into infertile land. That's called land degradation. So land value is getting degraded. So that is called land degradation, right? So that is the cause. See, the causes were being asked in the question, right? So whenever you're writing causes, so you have to elaborate them. You have to elaborate them, right? So you have written an answer last week, you have not elaborated, right? So whenever you're writing something which is asked in the question, so you have to elaborate them. For example, she said that overuse of fertilizers. So you have to explain what is meant by overuse of fertilizers, where that is happening. So you have to elaborate, you have to write 2 or 3 lines, right? Whereas impact, it is not asked in the question. So it was not asked. So what you do in impact, you just write, you just use a diagram and you just write a single line on impacts. So that is fine, because that was not asked that is not asked as a K2, okay? So you'll write causes, you'll write impact, you'll write government initiatives, way forwards. Any other value additions you can do? Any other? Any other? See, you can draw, if you have some number, if you have some statistics related to land degradation, you can draw a box here and you can highlight them. Okay? You can highlight them. Or else you can draw India map. You can draw India map and highlight the areas where land is getting degraded. See, if you do all these things, you will get that additional marks. Okay? So, I'll just repeat. The question is, so what are the major causes for land degradation in India and what are the government initiatives? See, this is a 15 marker question, so we have 3 pages. See, what is demand here? They are asking you to write causes and they are asking you to write government initiatives, right? And what additions you can do? You can write way forward, you can draw, you can put a number, you can write impacts, and you can draw a map. So these are value additions, okay? So just I'm going to the next level, right? So answer writing. So, okay. Now in such a sort of questions, so you have to do some exercise. That exercise is, see, for example, what class is going on right now for you? Polity. See, okay. Okay, polity, you have some definitions, right? For example, what is meant by rule of law? What is meant by equality? So you will have some definitions. So you have to maintain a book for a definitions, right? For example, desertification. Which body at the international level looks after desertification? At the international level, a body will look after desertification. That body has recently conducted its COP, Conference of Parties, in Delhi. The Prime Minister made a Delhi declaration on it. United Nations, UNCCD, combating critical desertification, right? So, right, so this is the body. See, this body has a definition for desertification. So according to United Nations combating desertification, so this is what desertification is. So like that you have to give a definition. For example, if there is something related to child labor, question is on child labor, then which body you have to use, which body's definition? UNICEF. There is a body called UNICEF, right? So similarly, if something is related to poverty, you can use the definition of World Bank, right? So like that, there are international bodies, right? UN bodies and the idea on the UN bodies. 6 principal bodies, and right, there are other bodies as well. So you just pick up the definition. See, for example, climate change. UNFCCC, United Nations Framework for Convention on Climate Change. So this is the body which looks after climate change. You get the definition, right? So similarly, CBD, Convention on Biodiversity. So that defines what is meant by biodiversity. So you have to give such definitions in your introduction, right? Okay. Clear. Now let us discuss this question. So introduction, what can be the introduction for this desertification question? You can define what is meant by desertification, definition of UNCCD, or else you can write, recently there was a survey conducted by ISRO. ISRO has prepared land degradation atlas of India. So you know what is meant by atlas, right? Atlas matlab map. So ISRO has prepared land degradation atlas. Atlas, right? In that atlas, in that particular map, 30% of India's land is getting degraded. 30%. See, 30% of our land is getting degraded. Okay. 30% of land is getting, you can use this stat. Okay. And majority, 80% of this land degradation is happening in 9 states. So 80% of land degradation is happening in just 9 states out of 29 states. In 9 states, 80 80% of land degradation is happening in 9 states. Okay. So this is an important number. So చెప్పాను కదా, you maintain one book for statistics, right? You maintain one book for definitions. So these 2 books are important for you, right? So you don't need to note down all current affairs every day because you'll get magazines, right? So but these 2 things, it is very difficult to gather at one point. So you do that exercise, that will really help you, right? Now let us, so this will be the introduction. You can write this stat or you can define what is meant by desertification. Now what are the causes? Causes for desertification. Causes. Let us divide these causes into man-made causes and natural causes. Man-made or anthropogenic causes. So what are man-made causes for desertification? Sorry? Okay, so I'll just list down. Use of more for it. Overgrazing. Overgrazing is the first cause. What is meant by overgrazing? So the animals will graze these things, right? So overgrazing. India is losing 31% of its grasslands from 2005 because of overgrazing. So 31% of our grasslands are getting lost because of overgrazing. So you know, right, India has largest livestock population of the world. So 17% of livestock, buffaloes, cows, sheep, goat, right? Sheep, goat. So they constitute livestock. Globally, 17% of livestock is in India. So you have to provide them fodder. You have to provide them water, right? So where they are just eating away the grasslands, right? So this is causing land degradation, right? 31% of grasslands between since 2005 were lost because of overgrazing, right? Next, desertification. Desertification. So sorry, deforestation. Deforestation. See, deforestation is also causing land degradation. How deforestation causes land degradation? How cutting of trees, చెట్లు కొట్టేస్తే, then how that is going to impact the fertility of soil. Land degradation అంటే ఏంటి? Soil fertility తగ్గిపోవటం, right? Soil is become unusable, right? For example, you go to Rajasthan, western part of Rajasthan, you can do nothing there except to sell that sand, right? So sorry, because of overrun. Okay. See, there is a concept called soil erosion. Soil erosion. Geography done? Geography. So what is meant by soil erosion? See, whenever there is a rain, have you seen the soil percolates with rain? That's called gull raining, right? So whenever there is a wind, the soil moves with the wind. So this is called soil erosion. So soil loses its top layer, which is called fertility layer, because of wind, air, right? Such external factor removes this top layer. It's called soil erosion. Whenever they are forest, if you observe the forest, the land between the 2 different trees, what these trees will do? These trees will hold the soil. So it doesn't allow the soil to travel along, right? It keeps the soil intact. So that is the advantage of trees. That's why now government has come up with a concept called agroforestry. What is this agroforestry? So if you have a agriculture land, you need to plot trees around your agriculture plot. For example, if you have 1 acre of land, agriculture land, you should plot trees around it. You might have seen there are many paddy crops in Andhra and Telangana where around the crop they will plant mango trees, right? So or coconut trees. Why this thing is done? Because see, these trees will keep the soil intact. They doesn't allow the soil to wither away, right? So that's why deforestation. Now if you cut the trees, what happens? That capacity of the soil to hold by the land is getting lost. That's why degradation of land is happening, right? So you know, right, how much deforestation is happening in India. So because of which the consequence is land degradation. Next, so farming practices. There is a farming practice called slash and burn. So you heard this, slash and burn. They will just burn the trees, right, and they will remove the forest and they will cultivate agriculture over there, and they leave the land after one crop. They will again go to another land. So this is called slash and burning technique. It happens generally in Himalayan states. Okay, so this is also causing land degradation. Next, urbanization. How urbanization is leading to land degradation? How urbanization is causing land degradation? Apartmental culture. They're 80 feet, 90 feet, they're drilling bores, right? So they're exploiting groundwater. So if the entire groundwater is extracted, how can you say that the land is fertile, right? They're extracting all the groundwater. Overuse of groundwater resources in urban areas due to extreme urbanization, right? So this is also causing land degradation. Next, climate change. How climate change is causing land degradation? See for okay, yes. So for example, see rise in sea levels. So sea levels have increased. What happens? The soil which is there at the coastal belt, that belt will become infertile. So this called there is a concept called salinization, right? See for example, take Andhra Pradesh. Andhra Pradesh have a long coastal belt, right? So coastal belt. See, adjacent to coastal belt, there is a paddy cultivation, banana cultivation. So these things happens in Andhra Pradesh. Now you know what happening? This increase in sea level is causing percolation of salinity into the soils. Now these soils are turning into saline. Now they cannot cultivate paddy and all these things in the saline crops. So that's why they are converting these crops into aquaforms, right? So this is the problem. Okay. So climate change will cause such problems, right? Next one is over exploitation of natural resources. So overuse of fertilizers, overuse of pesticides. So all these factors causing land degradation. Now what are natural causes? What are natural causes for land degradation? Tsunami. So how tsunami will cause land degradation? Yes, you can write. So tsunamis, floods, what these things will do? They will carry salinity from the sea into the land, right? So that can affect the soil composition, right? So you can write that. Apart from that, main important factor is droughts. See, there is this concept called El Nino, La Nino. El Nino, La Nino. If there is an El Nino, 7 years we don't get good monsoons. 7 years we don't get good monsoon. If there is no good monsoon, what happens? There is no agriculture crop. That leads to land degradation, right? So apart from that, you can write water erosion, soil erosion, right? So these things are natural causes. Landslides. What is meant by landslide? Landslide. Yes. Yes. Because of gravity, the land slides down. So this causes land topographical changes which impact the soil cultivation, right? So these are wind erosion, soil erosion, water erosion, droughts. So these are the natural causes for land degradation. Now what are the initiatives that government has taken? Now what impact will it have? What is the impact of land degradation? General ga what will be the impact? Sorry? Okay, soil fertility will get affected. See, you can divide the, whenever you're writing impact, write impact, ecological impact, economic impact, right? Social impact. See, and what is the social impact? So I have already mentioned in the last class. Yes, migration. See, whenever there is an environmental question and they are asking you the social impact, migration is the buzzword, right? So migration is one of the social impact of, see, if your soil is getting degraded, so you cannot live over there, right? So you will move to another place. So migration is one social impact. Apart from that, what are environmental impact? Environmental impact. See, environmental impact is destruction of vegetation, soil infertility, water pollution, right? So these are some loss of biodiversity. If land is getting degraded, you will have biodiversity will get affected. So loss of biodiversity, water pollution, soil infertility, degradation of vegetation. So these are the environmental impact. So economic impact, anyone? What are economic impact of? Yes, loss of food crops, right? Loss of food, loss of revenue, right? So, and anything else? Agriculture productivity will increase, poverty will increase, right? Productivity will increase, poverty will increase. So more burden for government expenditure. How government expenditure will be burdened? See, if there are agriculture crop losses, then farmers cannot repay bank loans. Government has to give loan waiver, right? Or else government has to give subsidies. So if agriculture crop is a failure, then that burdens government exchequer. So government ka physical deficit will increase, right? So these are the economic consequences, right? So this is how we have to, whenever you're writing impact, environmental impact, economic impact, social impact. Okay. Now what are the measures? What is way forward or government initiatives? What are government initiatives? Government initiatives. See, government made a Delhi declaration in UN combating desertification summit that happened in Delhi. That promises, our Prime Minister has promised that by 2030 we will try to bring back 26 million hectares of land from land degradation. So 26 million hectares of land which is already degraded will be retrieved back by 2030. That is the goal given by our Prime Minister, right? So this is very, very important stat. So you have to use this, right? So according to the Delhi Declaration, UN CCD, government has, Prime Minister has promised that by 2030 we will bring back 26 million hectares of land which got degraded. Okay. And then we bought schemes like soil health card. Soil health card. So what will do soil health card? The soil fertility is measured, and then you will come to know the soil need. See, you know, right, this, there is a problem in Indian agriculture. That problem is NPK, 4:2:1, right? So naturally, so our soil needs three components: nitrogen, phosphorus, potash, in the ratio 4:2:1, right? So to have this nitrogen, which fertilizer will be used? Urea. Okay. So nitrogen can be obtained with urea, right? So DPT will be used to both potash and phosphorus. Now the nitrogen has to be 4%, phosphorus and potash has to be 2 and 1%. So this is the natural thing. But you know what happens in Indian agriculture? So they will use 17:1:1. So this is the ratio which they use. They are using more than required amount of urea. So why they are using more than required amount of urea? Because only urea fertilizer have subsidy. Rest of the fertilizers doesn't have subsidy. They have a different kind of subsidy, but urea is very less, right? So they are using urea. Not only they are using on soil, they are using also in dairy products. They are mixing urea and dairy products and they're just selling as a milk, right? So you read about it, right? So see, this is what happening. So because of overuse of urea, what's happening? land fertility is getting degraded. So that is ultimately leading to land degradation, right? So what you have to do, so government has come up with a concept called soil health card. Soil health card. In this soil health card, in every village, so wherever there is an agriculture cultivation, there is a lab called soil labs will be opened. So once in a 3 years, this lab technician will come to your field and he will verify what is the NPK ratio of your land. See, your land need this much amount of urea, this much amount of fertilizer, right? So he will give that number to you. So based on that number, you have to buy the fertilizer. So if you do this, then automatically land degradation will come down. So this is the soil health card scheme, right? So this will also help in reducing land degradation. Next, government has come up with watershed program. What is watershed program? Water harvesting, right? So watershed. See, whenever there is a rainwater, we have to save that rainwater, because so that rainwater, if you harvest that rainwater, that will increase the groundwater table, right? If groundwater table is strengthened, then automatically the land fertility will increase. Now I have mentioned, right, in urbanization what's happening? Apartmental culture, we are exploiting the groundwater, right? So the ground, you have to make at least 30 feet, 40 feet bore to get that groundwater. This is happening because of over exploitation of groundwater resources. So if we harvest rainwater through these watersheds, then automatically the groundwater level will increase. That will add to soil fertility, right? And then you can talk about national afforestation program, agroforestry program. I said, right? So you need to plant trees to make that soil to stay intact, right? So if you plant an mango crops around a paddy crop, so that will keep the soil intact, right? So this is one thing. Next, similarly, you can write fodder and feed development scheme. Fodder and feed development scheme. So what is this fodder and feed development scheme? So what is the first cause for land degradation? Overgrazing. The animals are eating more and more grass. So this is causing to land degradation. So that's why government has come up with a scheme called fodder and feed. So fodder and feed is you prepare fodder artificially, or you prepare food required for the animals specifically, right? So that will reduce the animal impact on overgrazing, right? See, as I said, 17% of livestock are in India. So global livestock are in India. So you need to provide them with food and water. So generally what the farmers are doing, they are leaving these things to grasslands. So they're asking the animals, so you might have seen, right? So they leave the buffaloes and cows to eat the grass, right? So they never prepare any fodder specifically for them. So this is impacting land degradation, right? So this is one scheme, right? So these are some schemes. Also there is this Sustainable Development Goal 15. This goal is talking about reducing the land degradation. So when you are concluding, you can use this Sustainable Development Goal 15, right? So you take this as an exercise and you try to complete this answer, and I want you to write way forwards. What are the innovative measures you take if you are an administrator to reduce this land degradation? See, you are a district collector, right? So there is a problem in your district that your land, the fertility land in your district is getting reduced, right? Now what you do? What will you do? So you know causes, impacts. Now what as an administrator you do to reduce this land degradation? At least come up with 2 or 3 points, right? And you complete this answer next week, right? So I thought of discussing K3 today, but the strength is low and the time is, so next week we'll discuss it, okay? Right. Thank you all. Good day. So anything else, any other topic? Next week, any other topic? Huh? Okay, K3, that's fine. Any other doubts? Current affairs? Okay, right.